And our first question comes from Jeff Butera. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Jeff. That's at Bay News 9, Jeff on Twitter. Is Mike McDaniel a long-term answer in Miami, or are there concerns about toughness and preparation that might outweigh offensive ingenuity? Jeff, I understand this question has been asked a lot, and I understand why the question has been asked. I think you look at the trajectory of the Dolphins and where they've been over the last couple of years, and I still think they're in a very good place. Now, in a year or two, could there be a little bit of a roster reset where they have to move some pieces around? Tyreek Hill is older. Teron Armstead, their left tackle, has gotten older. Yeah, that exists. And there are questions, of course, lingering on whether or not Tua Tagovailoa can be the answer on the sort of contract that he's made that he's got now. Now, that said, I think from a coaching standpoint, we've seen a team that's been very well coached. It's taken them a while to get the defense right, but I think we've seen good signs this year that Anthony Weaver's getting that right and bringing in a Ravens style of defense. He's had 3 defensive coordinators in 3 years, of course. So I think just from a football standpoint, everything is pretty much where it needs to be. I think the things that you're talking about, like the ability to play in the cold, the ability to play to have a more physical run game. Again, like I think that those are things you can inject into your program. And it's something that Mike McDaniel was a part of in San Francisco. If you look over the years, early on in San Francisco, they did more finesse zone type of run scheme. In recent years, you've seen more gap scheme stuff that San Francisco is doing. They've become one of the more physical teams in all of football. So while the Dolphins may not fit into that designation now, they might not be in that category now. Like Mike McDaniel has been part of transforming a team into that in the past. So I certainly think that that's, something that he's capable of doing. I don't think there are real limitations on where he can bring the team from a scheme standpoint because of, the amount of experience he has coaching on that side of the ball. And I think now that it looks like he's got the defense in the sort of place where he wants it to be, now you can start to build forward. Now this stuff, of course, is subject to a lot of the same things that every team is subject to. How are you drafting going forward? How are you going to eventually find the replacement for Tyreek Hill? Can you make Jalen Waddle the focal point of an offense the way Hill has been the focal point of the offense the last couple of years? Can you draft more linemen? I think that's a fair question. What's going to happen with the offensive line over the next few years? So lots of fair questions about the Dolphins, but I don't look at any of them as questions that Mike McDaniel wouldn't be capable of answering as their head coach. So I think Mike McDaniel is the guy in Miami going forward. Obviously, they signed him to an extension, and I think he's positioned well to take what he's done over his first 3 years and create a 2.0 down the road too.